90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair.
What?
You are tuned into the Diary Room.
The Diary Room.
The Diary Room. The Diary Room WMSC, where we talk all things Big Brother. That's right, the reality TV show on CBS that is coming to a close.
No.
Oh, so soon. But if you're wondering, who is this? What is this voice? It sounds familiar. Get it off my radio. Too bad. I'm here. I'm here. I am one of two co-hosts. Tis I, Emily Emol McCormack, joined with my fantastic co-host.
Just Chris. Hello.
Just.
I'm back. Just stuck in the diary room.
We're stuck here. It's been 70-something days stuck in this diary room, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm gonna miss this season.
That's so true.
We got a week left.
Not even.
Not even.
I can't believe it. We've been covering all things Big Brother season 27 since mid-July, and we're here at the end of September. The finale is this weekend. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it.
How?
It's one of those things where we're in the middle of the season. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're still here. Like, I thought the pre-jury phase lasted forever, and now it's just like, oh, by the way, it's done. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Jury ended a week ago? Actually. Rachel left.
I think that was 2 weeks.
That was 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. When was Twitter outraged?
When was Twitter outraged?
I feel like that may have been about 2 weeks ago. And then they sent someone else home, and they had double.
Because it was like a week and a half because of all the weird shenaniganery they had going on with the schedule at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we had Rachel go home on the Tuesday episode. That was the Tuesday episode.
Yeah, I forgot about the Tuesday moment that we had. So
it was like a day before, and then they just did the next episode, and then they sent Will home. Like,
yeah, though this
back to back to back.
We will get a little bit to our thoughts and opinions on this endgame, but there is no doubt that it's just been rapid fire.
Yes.
It felt like 80% of the season was pre-jury, and then suddenly it's like, okay, now we're here. As we speak right now, and I'm not spoiling anything except for just one thing. We are talking, it is 12:12 p.m. on the 24th of September. There are only 4 house guests in the house. And that is the most I will spoil, because we are going to find out more about it very soon, because we got another episode tonight as it is Wednesday. However, here on the Diary Room, we are going all the way back to...
We got to go back to
last
Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, yes. September 17th, and I started putting the dates on our little notes because I'm getting myself all sorts of confused, for I pretty much know what's happening through finale night.
Every single step that the house guests have taken have been recorded, and I have gotten updates live from Ms. Mole about all of the goings-ons. But I don't watch the live feed, so
alas,
I am none the wiser.
It makes it very, very difficult for me to talk to you sometimes. But don't worry, all will be revealed on the next episode. But don't worry, I'm not going to spoil much. I probably, that's the limit of my spoilers, is that, in fact, somebody else went home. But how do we get there? How do we get to what's happening tonight? How do we get to the final 4? Because how many people are in the house as we're talking? There's still 7? Last Wednesday?
6.
There were 6?
Well, so... Jury started at 7.
Yes.
Rachel goes home. Will goes home. Then now we're at where we're at right now.
Well, no, jury had to start at 9. because of the
yes, jury started at 9.
This is the Diary Room, not the number show.
I'm so silly. And then so it was Rachel, Will, and then they did the double, and it was a double. So that's 4 people gone.
So
now we're down to 5.
Yes,
so,
but we are pre-double.
But we're pre-double at the moment.
Yes, shall recap.
We are in the middle of the double.
So let's go back a week ago, last Wednesday.
7 people.
My first note. Vince and Morgan are out of control.
and they are.
And I started to allude to this last week. And I know we were talking, our alliance outside of the diary room. And we were talking, and I just look at you and I'm like, there's so much going on. And I will tell you, if you are you just a listener, if you're just a casual viewer of the show, you are getting a taste of how bad it is. But it is constant in there. And I am glad that they're starting to shed some more light on it, but I don't fully love the way that they're portraying the two of them. And I'll get to that too.
Me neither.
But it is so out of control, these two and their human chemistry, that the rest of the house guests are starting to warn the two of them and starting to ask questions. I specifically remember when Keanu was talking to Vince, he's like, I don't know, I got a girlfriend. I don't really know if I'd be doing that with any other girl. And then Vince is just very adamant, that they're just friends and they're whatever. But what really hit the nail in the coffin was our good friend Zingbot. And
he murdered all of them.
Ironic.
Every single house guest was Zingbotted very effectively this season.
My note was, oh my God, they killed Morgan. So if you are new to Big Brother, then you have just recently been introduced to Zingbot, the I'd say beloved, but I will say infamous robot pal, enemy, what have you, that zings the house guests and basically just roasts all of them. The last couple of seasons, I think it's been I feel like there's a couple hits, but mostly misses. I feel like this season there were more hits than misses.
Certainly.
And they really fed off of even someone like poor Lauren, who is very upset that the house guests started that. I think Rachel called her indecisive. And Lauren's like, what do you mean indecisive? And I'm like, I think if you look up the word indecisive, there's a picture of you, Lauren. And that's okay. Maybe not for Big Brother, but you're a very sweet person and that's fine. And Zingbot's calling her out on that. Didn't he call Ashley like a snooze fest or called her boring and whatever?
She was saying, she,
He, she,
something
we.
about how she was in Rachel's shadow as well. I remember that was another thing, because she kind of was.
I feel like Ashley has done so much behind the scenes that she needs to really showcase in the end game if she would like to win. And I do think that Zingbot's zing furthering the concept that she is like just in the shadow of someone who's not even there anymore, like, oh, this person's kind of useless, she could definitely use to her advantage to get her in the end, so long as the jury doesn't agree with Zingbot. But I realized that I'm like, okay, maybe that'll help her out. I'm forgetting some of the other zings because the most important ones were for Vince and Morgan. And so for Vince's, didn't he call him a crybaby?
Yes.
Was that it? I wish I wrote them down word for word. So called Vince out on his crying, which there's no denying. He will do that. To get his way, he will sob for it. And then Morgan's, this was a huge yikes. Like, I felt it, like my whole body was just like, and I liked it in the sense of I miss when Zingbot was messier. And this was a bit messy, where it was like naming all the qualities of what Morgan and Vince do. And then it's like, what do you call that? And I love how like Vince was like, or one of them was like, a number one ally. It's like, you know where this is going. You caused this, and you know where this is going. This is your doing, bro. And then Zingbot's like, his girlfriend. And then Morgan just, no facial expression. It's not even funny. Goes to cutting the most, like, terrified pizza ever. That's just getting stabbed and stabbed and stabbed with the me when I'm terrified pizza. But she just goes back to cutting the pizza, and Zingbot's like, awkward. And then nobody's like cheering, or it's usually like, even if people are upset with their zings, they'll be like, thanks, Zingbot, and then he'll go, or he'll be like, now come to the backyard for my competition or whatever. And it was just like, crickets. What to do now? Morgan was so upset. She was so upset.
She's gonna keep getting upset because every time this gets brought up by anyone, she just continues to deny that. They both do. And I know that we talk about this all the time, but it's like, at what point do you realize yourself? Like Vince or Morgan?
I mean, even if they don't both feel a certain way for each other, there you can't deny that that's how it's coming off because of your own actions. What does frustrate me here, or I guess like just kind of disappoints me, is that Morgan has been and continues to get the brunt of this.
When nobody says anything about Vinny ever.
What's up with that? And I tweeted something along the lines of, I'm sure I could recreate it, where like the perception of Riley, if you remember him, was so they painted him like a sweetheart, like he was really just something in this game. Like, say what you will, like if you think he was creepy or not, he also really didn't do anything. He got one HOH that was then taken away from him. But he was painted as this guy that was like super sweet, and there's a showmance, and isn't that so sweet? And then there's nothing showing the eviler side of him. I don't know. I can't speak too much on it, but I will. I have. But like, they didn't show the downsides of Riley, and now they're showing the ugly sides of Vince and Morgan, and they're really just pushing it as Morgan as someone who's trying to get one over on Vince, where Vince is the one with the girlfriend. What? I'm not saying they're both perfect. Obviously, they're not. But I feel bad for Morgan in that sense, where, I mean, nowadays, I know in the HOH room, they do sleep in the HOH bed, but there's a pillow barrier, because that's the human chemistry barrier where they cannot touch each other. But based on the clips that I've seen, because no, I don't watch live feeds while they're sleeping. I think that's a step too far.
That is crazy.
But other people do for the sake of harvesting clips, for work purposes. But I've seen some clips where the barrier is coming down. And it's not her who's tearing down the barrier. That's what I know.
Vincent.
That's what I know. And now they're talking about, because next week they're in the real world, regardless of who wins, who loses. After Sunday, they're out there. They're free. They're free. They get their phones, they get their families, and they could talk without the recording. And apparently the two of them are talking about their options. They're trying to speak in code. And I haven't deciphered the code because I kind of gave up.
Is this actively going on as of now? Or was this going on like last week?
This has been going on. And they're talking about like option 1. How do you feel about option 1? And basically it's just a code for like, so what day do you break up with your girlfriend and then we're together? But I don't know for certain, because then there are people who are like, Morgan has no interest in Vince. And then others are like, what in the world are you talking about? And
What in the world are you talking? I wouldn't. Hey, me personally, I'm not going to rub my friend's arm to wake them up in a manner that I don't really know how to explain the manner at which the arm was rubbed. But an arm was rubbed.
You don't do that. You don't do that. If like, regardless of if I'm in a relationship or not, if I had a friend do that, I'd be like, what's going on here? I mean, okay, actually, the funniest part of this is I have but one friend where she's just like that. You're giving me a look. You're like, nah. But I will tell you, she was just like that. And everyone was just like, okay, cool. But I also knew her from for 7 years. and she just accepted that, like, she was just like a touchy person. There's only one exception. And I know a lot of people. I don't love a lot of people, but I know a lot of people. No, I do actually. I love everybody. I think I'd be terrible in Big Brother because I'd be like, look at all my new friends.
Well, and that's exactly what freaking Rachel is so mad about. She's like,
everyone loves
each other, and everyone's so positive. But this is Big Brother, and we're not allowed to be positive.
I'll go in Big Brother, and I'll just pretend I'm really cutthroat. It won't work.
How long do you think you can keep that up for?
None, actually. I think I'd just be in there the first night and be like, I have anxiety. Somebody talk to me, please. I don't want to be first HOH. Please, God, no. But anyway. Friends don't rub each other's arms in that fashion. And Zingbot addresses such. And so to conclude, my thoughts on that is I am glad that there was a Zing that was a bit more, what's the word? It wasn't like it was just more out there. It was more of what I think Zingbot should be. And it's just calling people out on their behavior, calling them out on the things that they do, and not holding back. And so I was glad to hear a little bit more of that, but I do feel bad that Morgan alone got the brunt of it. Sure, of course that involves Vince too. And he should really feel gross. I really want his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend, I'm sure. I really want her on next season. I think it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Be like, we would all root for her. Wouldn't it be so funny though if she went in the house and then we're like, oh, I understand why he didn't want to be
She finds some other random guy to rub her arm.
And be like, this is just what friends do. No, I don't know.
You only can get that in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, apparently.
It's the only experience. Only place where you can get the friendly arm rubbing experience.
Hey guys, here in the Big Brother house, I'm only here for friendly arm rubs. I'm not here to win anything. That is all I'm looking for. The only indication that I have into anything his girlfriend-wise is the fact that she commented on his page saying that she will be voting for Keanu for America's Favorite Player. By the way, as we speak, America's Favorite Player still open. You could vote. You could vote up to 5 times, and then you watch an ad, and you could vote up to 10. And then if you have multiple emails, plenty more. But I didn't say that. I didn't. Anyway.
Who said that?
So Zingbot's there.
Yes.
Zingbot, of course, always brings a new competition, though it is usually Power of Veto. This time, it was HOH.
Wait.
Oh, no, wait.
No, it was Veto.
No, I'm so wrong. It was Veto.
It was Veto.
I see now the error of my ways. Continuing on the veto.
Because this is on Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. It was the BB CSI ball competition. Do you remember this one?
This was true false. Our notes are a little inaccurate. It was the Zingbot, the BB-CSI ball comp was the blockbuster.
What did I do?
I'm not sure, but it's okay because I can explain this from here.
I'm sweating all my misinformation.
It's okay. So Wednesday we had it was the true or false competition where they played the video of Zingbot getting slimed out
Yes.
I guess to say the use a safe term, and
To be none more.
yes. And so the mastermind pulls up, and they're in like the alleyway, and they have like the whole exchange, and then they ask the house guest questions about different things that went on in the video. Then they did the true or false, and then yes, Morgan wins. Morgan wins because she came in because Keanu came in second, and they were neck and neck the entire time. And they went to it. It was.
There's so much that happened.
There's too much that happened. Those are the specific details. This was a week ago. And
yes. I'm literally sweating right now. I'm like, what is
coming
happening?
off of the previous weeks of schedules, because the past 2 weeks have been tampered with.
Yeah.
And now we're back to the normal week schedule, and my brain is just mush thinking about it.
Dude, I'm so brain mush. I'm literally going back to our Instagram to figure out what in the world actually happened.
Yes, because no, Morgan won, and she had to choose between who she should save between Ava and Keanu, because she got to
Kelley.
pick, or Kelley.
Yes, because it was the three of them still.
Yes,
We're in blockbuster territory
We're
again.
still before
Yes.
the blockbuster.
I'm literally looking back
But
on
it
our
wasn't.
page.
Yeah, I didn't mention Kelley specifically because it was never really in
Oh
the
yeah,
cards.
she was never going to
She
bother.
was never
Yes.
in the cards to ever get taken down, but she ended up going with Ava in the end.
Because now it does remind me of all those many days that Morgan spent in Vince's HOH room convincing him to renom Lauren, his other number one, and it's just a disaster. And my notes say these two are exhausting, and it is true. And maybe this is why I got my information wrong, because I tried to block this out of my head. Because Morgan says that Lauren will not go home on Vince's HOH. He does not want Lauren to go home on his HOH because his two number ones are Morgan and Lauren. And Lauren at this point is kind of aligned with Ava and Kelley-ish. But her number one is Vince. And so why would her number one put her on the block?
This is the season of number ones putting each other on the block.
Exactly.
Didn't you know?
We had a hot minute of not that. We kind of forgot for a second, especially with like Rachel. And I think it was like Ava too, and then there's Lauren, who just is brought us all back to my ally. I think I'm gonna get them out. I think I'm gonna get Will out because that helps. Anyone in this house would have been wanting to sit next to Will, but whatever. We already hashed that out a week ago. But yeah, so Morgan is trying to convince Vince to put up Lauren in the event that she takes down Ava, with the promise that Lauren will not go home. So in the end, what is the purpose of Vince nominating Lauren? It is just so Morgan knows.
To send a message.
Just to send a message, just to know that she has the ultimate power over Vince, and to send that message to Lauren, even though she's like, I promise she's not going home. Just for, at the veto ceremony, for Morgan to save Ava, and Vince ultimately does nominate Lauren, proving his loyalty to Morgan and burning Lauren at the same time. And for what? Because now it only gives room for anyone in the house to decide whether or not they actually want to keep Lauren.
Yeah.
You're going to put your number one ally at risk? Vince? Bro.
When has Vince has done nothing but be flip-floppy and wishy-washy this entire time. Every single one of his allies hate him. Even Morgan. They don't.
Exactly.
She's mad at him too.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. I don't know how to justify it.
I don't think there's anything to justify. Bro is not seriously aligned with anybody but himself and what works with him in that moment. But if he really was allied with himself, he would be doing a better job at his alliances with the other people. But whatever, because this is done. He officially burns Lauren, and Morgan's like, yay, this is great.
Now you chose me.
Now you chose me. Now let's move on with this. And then so we get into Thursday. It's double eviction night, baby. And this was September 18th. I think it was kind of rude of Vampire Weekend to schedule their 4-night residency at Montclair's Wilmot Theater in the middle of a double eviction. That was kind of weird. But I personally had the soundtrack to the double eviction be Vampire Weekend. And my friends took photos of me actively watching CBS in the pit. So shout out Vampire Weekend for being a part of my
Bringing
Big Brother
two worlds
experience.
collide.
And so I'm a little bit fuzzy on exactly what happened because I got, the notes. They didn't let me play the episode on the loudspeakers because someone was singing. Weird. But you do what you gotta do. And so we are going to jump into... I was saying the first eviction night, double eviction night, but the only double eviction night at this point... We can't really
We're not gonna get any
another
more.
one.
Well,
Now people will go
now
home.
It's mathematically impossible.
Exactly. And it's funny, though, because weeks ago, I was convinced that they needed to do a triple or 2 doubles to get it to the end. But then they decided the month of mayhem.
Yes.
And they want to sacrifice people. But whatever. We still get a classic double eviction.
For sure.
Pretty late in the game. But... I mean,
usually it's like I would say that, yeah, it definitely could have been like a couple weeks prior.
Yeah.
At least. I'm not sure.
But we got it now. And I'm not complaining.
And we're basically in the middle of another one.
Oh, my Lord.
We have to unpack that.
We shall.
Later on, because, I mean, I was confused.
I'm still confused. If you're listening right now, you can tell I'm trying to piece everything back together. This game moves fast. But we move on to last Thursday. We begin the double eviction night with the aftermath of the veto, where Lauren is obviously upset about the fact that she's on the block the first time she's ever been on the block all season, and by her number one ally, no less. Is that really her number one ally then? But Lauren is smart because she knows that she has to hide her frustrations, at least to Vince, because he's the one in power and still seemingly has influence over Morgan, who has influence over pretty much the entire house at this point. But Lauren does plot revenge with Ava. And I like this. And I am frustrated that it took this long into the season to see a little bit more of a frustrated Lauren. We didn't get to see enough of it. And she just very much has been very soft-spoken and very sweet and doesn't want to burn bridges and whatever. And it looked like she had the torch in her hand and she was ready to burn a bridge with Vince. But how long will that flame be going?
It's not going out.
Whatever. I forgot taking my next note. In all caps, my note reads, Vince, please, for the love of anything, stop straightening your hair. His hair is going to fall off. He's going to burn his hand. He's going to burn the beanie. He basically, straightens his wet hair with the beanie. I don't know what's happening there. Vince, I've seen pictures of you with not straightened hair. Just leave it. Just let it be.
It looks like, the risk of him burning his hand bad. Because it says his hair's not even that long.
No, why are we doing this?
The one part before, I don't know if it was a nomination ceremony or a veto. I think it was the veto ceremony, I guess, because that's why we're talking about this right now. When they showed that, they aired that, if you noticed.
I'm like, there's so much more to complain about him, but like, dude, why are you doing that? Please stop it. Your hair looks fine, and you put it up in a beanie as it is. You don't even see it.
No,
You're
literally.
wasting your time. You're frying those ends. Your hair is short. Stop it. Stop it. But that's also coming from someone who has to put in extra effort to make my hair curly. My hair is so straight today because I did nothing to it. I'm just like, oh. But it's also bright blue, so what am I saying?
Always bright blue.
That's how it should always be.
Blue.
But Vince, maybe if you dyed your hair blue, I'd have different opinions. Please stop straightening your hair. Please. Please. Lauren is, again, very frustrated with this situation going on. She's on the block, and I wrote, quote, "They did it. They got me on the block." And what was really interesting is this was a direct reference to Morgan and Ashley. So we have Lauren, who is recognizing this was not Vince's decision. Wow. Fork found in the kitchen. But the fact that she's also referencing Ashley is really important. And especially as we approach the end game, as we approach the fact that Zingbot said Ashley is just in the shadow of Rachel, she does have influence.
Yes.
With Morgan, at least, combining their power, and Lauren is starting to recognize this. Lauren, again, is collecting the items, the information to start a revolution, potentially. She's recognizing where people stand in the game, which is something that a lot of house guests have had a lot of trouble with this entire season, about who's aligned with who, and she's starting to put those pieces together. And in the middle of her putting this together, realizing how frustrated she is with Morgan and by association Ashley, and then also obviously upset with Vince because he was the one in power to put her up in the end, Vince has the audacity to then sit in a room with both Morgan and Lauren and say, "This is my ideal final three."
That was crazy.
He has spent this entire game with his two number ones in the palm of his hands, or really vice versa, I suppose. But he's got these two number ones, and he's always pitting them against each other. "Oh my God, Lauren said this about you, Morgan. Oh my God, Morgan, yeah." And now he sits with them in the same room, and he's like, friends.
Because now they're aware of each other. Like, before, they would have been fighting this entire season if it weren't for that. But, I mean, they only have now become aware that Vince is working with them as closely as he actually was. I mean, I guess he was extremely involved in both of their games. I mean, that's not something that we can just ignore, but they didn't know that.
I guess.
Yeah, Lauren and Morgan, I would assume they had no idea that they were this heavily involved with Vinny. Which
is really weird to think about just on the outside, where it's so obvious to us. I think, though, there had to be the thought of this at least earlier when Lauren won her HOH in, week 3, and she had no idea what to do, and she was always calling on Vinny to call the shots, and then somehow they would still hang out together and be like, "Oh my God, isn't it so cool that no one knows we're working together, even though I'm going to kick other people out of the room so that we could talk to each other?" But that was way back when, because I remember Jimmy was in that room too. But most recently, it was super obvious to everyone with the White Locust because of him choosing Lauren. And so, yeah, it's coming to the surface as of late. And he's been spending this whole time pitting them against each other just to say, yes, let's bring each other. What? Morgan is so upset about this. "How dare you bring another woman into our relationship?" She didn't say that.
No. Don't talk about that.
Well, she is genuinely getting so jealous of Lauren, which is funny because Lauren, I mean, I get no inclination that she is romantically interested in him whatsoever, or anyone in the house. Sorry, Zach. But to me, it seems Morgan is getting very, very jealous. of Lauren, girl, get it together. And I'm laughing because I forgot they showed a montage of Vince's cramps. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember the cramp thing.
He's like an old man, and he was just cramping left and right. And I just wrote, "Bro, grow up?" 5 question marks.
Please, you're not supposed to have this level of joint pain, Vince.
What's going on there? And then the worst one was he's like, I don't even know if I should say it, but I'm gonna say. I have to say it. It's safe. It's safe. He's like, ow, my groin.
How do you get a cramp in your groin?
I don't know. And then he's like holding.
I don't know.
I'm like, Vince, please stop. This is so embarrassing for you. There's so many embarrassing things, from your relationship to your hair straightening to your cramps. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. If I was in a situation like that, I'd be a little bit more quiet about it. I'd be like, ooh, ouch. I'm just going to sit here for a minute. You okay, Mole? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what I'd have everyone call me in the house. I have too many nicknames.
I feel like
I should make up another option.
No, because then that's another nickname. What if you just stuck with Mole as a universal symbol?
Okay, I'll work on that.
Universal symbol of Mole.
I'll think about I'll think about that. So just know, if Mole is in the Big Brother house, she would be a little quieter about her specific aches and pains. So bro, grow up, 5 question marks. And then we also had a little moment of Kelley and Ashley aligning, final 2 question mark. But considering the outcome of this episode, that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm not gonna waste any more time. So I feel like you're gonna roll your eyes when I keep bringing up the Vince and Morgan of it all, but I have to, because then Morgan in this episode confronts Vince about his comment about them not being friends outside of the game. And they're just like, they're bickering, and they're in the HOH room because it's his room and it's her room. And Morgan and Vince are yelling so loud that Kelley and Lauren hear them in the hall. They're like playing chess and whatever, and they're just looking. And I don't know if they could tell specifically what they're saying, but they hear just loud. They're loud. This is like a couple that is like their days are dwindling. Sounds familiar? And and so Lauren is kind of seeing this as a sign of, oh, they're probably fighting over who is going home, because again, while Vince only votes in, this is the tie.
Yes.
Right? In the event of a tie,
yes.
Morgan still has influence over the other votes that she thinks this is about her. And oh my gosh, wait, this is the part where they're fighting and Vince goes into the bathroom. And the way that the HOH room is it's a revolving door, but not even, like, you gotta like forcefully push the secret door, and he's trying to slam the door in the middle of their argument. He can't. It's not a slammable door.
Why did he do that? Now the image is burned into my head.
It was so funny.
I forgot about that.
It was because
the cut that they made was so weird too.
It was so funny. Like, before I saw it, I heard about it, and I'm like, that sounds really silly. And then I watched it, and I just lost my marbles. Vince can't slam the HOH bathroom door closed. And so they're having this, and she's like, are you closing the door on me? It's like, well, you can't. It's like a little sloth. But they're still fighting and whatever. And even Kelley is so fed up with this, and she needs to be on people's good side to an extent, because she is one of 3 on the block. And even she goes in, because Lauren's like, hey guys, can we talk? And they're like, not now, Lauren. Mom and Dad are fighting. And then she's like, okay. And then she goes in the chess, like she goes back to Kelley, and then later she's like, hey guys, not now. And then Kelly's like, can you like give her a minute? She's on the block.
Give her a moment.
She's fighting for her life in this game. Let's be adults here. And Morgan and Vince are so wrapped up in their own drama that then Kelley makes that comment, and then she leaves, and they're like, see what I mean? Kelly's got to go. Kelly's got to go. And it was like, this is so embarrassing for them, because the truth is, I have not really been a Kelley fan. Over time, my frustrations with her have lulled just because she's not at the forefront as much as she used to be, and with her silliness of volunteering to go on the block. And the bugs are really weird. Just she keeps bugs in the house, and that's just a thing that we've accepted. So she's not, safe from the abnormal accusations. But this was a really normal interaction of this poor girl is on the block for the first time ever by her number one ally, and you can't even give her the time of day. And then the audacity for Vince and Morgan to be like, oh, Kelley. Kelley is the voice of reason in this moment. And I didn't think I'd ever be saying that. The bug collector is the voice of reason. So now we get into the blockbuster.
Yes.
The last blockbuster.
Great blockbuster, by the way.
Orb.
The orb competition.
So this one I did see most of. I was watching it happen. Again, silent. I just subtitles, and they were really behind. But I'm also in the RHAP chat BCC where people were like, Keanu and Kelley, what are you doing?
Yeah. I was in the same boat.
Yeah. This was they had to. But you probably know the storyline more than me. I don't know. Just they had a ball they had to put in a tube.
So yes, since I wasn't vampire weekending, this was it. I mean, this was the CSI competition where they had to gather the.
Oh, we finally made it to my note.
Yeah. This is the one that I think it was Keanu who brought it up because somebody was like, what competition was it? And he was like, the CSI one. And she was like, CSI? He was like, the competition. And she was like, oh, it was Ashley. Yeah, he was talking to Ashley.
Uh-huh.
And so they had to dig in a foam pit.
If you know, you
know. If you know, you know.
Dig in.
They had to dig in your foam pit twin. And they got the multicolored balls, like the dodge balls or the foam balls or whatever.
Orbs, if you
foam
will.
Orbs. And they had to stand on like the elevated platform above their ball dropping tube.
This is a normal show. I love this show.
I love Big Brother. Everything I say about it sounds super normal all the time, I swear. But yeah, no, they drop. So you drop the balls. It was 4. I want to say. I think it was 4.
Around there.
4.
I think
3. I don't think it was 3. I'm pretty sure it was.
At least 4. 4 orb.
4 orb. You gotta drop it in the tube from an elevated space.
Yes.
But there was only one who was actually good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, well, I mean, I guess speaking a little more in depth about everyone's what's it called, performance.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren was winning from the start. And she took it home super convincingly. I mean, Keanu and Kelley got their first ball like at the same exact time, but they just kept missing and missing and missing.
Yeah.
And missing.
It seemed like Lauren definitely had the best approach to it, where it was just like it's ironic that everyone ran to get the ball and then came back really quick. But it's ironic that she was more like slow and steady with it.
She had to have some kind of strategy.
Well, it was the slow and steady where like you lean over the balcony, whatever, as far as you can and steady yourself so you're not shaking, because the tube is like the size of the ball. Where it's ironic just considering how slow and steady Keanu typically is in all the competitions. Maybe he was just psyched out a little bit more. And it's funny just considering how many wins both Keanu and Kelley have in specifically blockbusters, but just competitions in general. But honestly, I thought going into this, before knowing what comp it was, whatever, that it could have been any three of them because they're all really good at competitions. Which, on the surface, would make me think, wow, this is a really good HOH reign for Vince. Like, no matter what, you're getting a comp threat out of the house.
Yeah.
But I'm still remembering his air quotes #1 ally is up on the block.
Yes.
But luckily, even more lucky for her than for Lauren, lucky for Vince that she's not even facing the block, because all this conversation of who people would have voted out is for nothing because Lauren takes herself off of the block. And now we have Kelley and Keanu on the block. The two blockbuster winners of the season that have been going head to head the entire time are both defeated by Lauren, and now it is finally time for them to face eviction. And like I said before, we are in a tie scenario where it was a 50-50 vote, where the votes for Kelley to go to jury were from Morgan and Ashley. Notice the pair. And against Keanu was both Ava and Lauren. Again, notice that pair. And Vince has to break the tie. And after 3 HOHs and putting her up every single time, Vince evicts Kelley.
Convincingly.
Mm-hmm.
He said it earlier in the episode too. He was like, I'll go up there and evict Kelley right in front of the whole house with no fear.
No, that was a Riley impression.
I love giving other house guests the Riley accent.
I mean, it's been so long since the accent. But yeah, I mean, Keanu at least thinks at this point that him and Vince are closely aligned. Kelley gave up on her alignment with Vince before, because in theory they were a final two way back when, which she mentions.
Yeah.
Which I guess could be our last note of the hour is Kelley is like the first, I don't even know if she's like I think she may be like she went out saying stuff. Like for some reason, a lot of these house guests, maybe they're convinced there's going to be a battle back, and that's why they don't go out with a bang, but Kelley tried, and unfortunately for her, she just shared a lot of outdated information for the house guests to be like, wow, no way. The information that Kelley shared that Vince and her had a final two is important in the sense of, like, all of you think that you're close with him and he will burn you.
Yeah, but everybody knows that already.
That's the thing. And yet he's still there, and yet they're still keeping him around. And I think every single person who's aligned with him just thinks, oh, well, it can't be me, though.
Yes.
And she's walking out the door with that information and saying, like, don't trust him. That's how I ended up leaving. And yet everyone still thinks that. But they also don't have a lot of time to think because they're going right into more comps. Kelley leaves. They do a decently long, normal, even interview with her with Julie Chen.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Kelley so much more in this interview than I have in weeks in the game. I don't know how you feel.
Is this because she's evicted?
It reminded me of Heisem in what was that, BB 24? 25? Yeah, whatever AmeriCorey was on. I just remember he hated
25
Corey
because I never watched it.
But Heisem was just like very grumpy, hated Corey, but why? And then the second he was evicted, there was just kind of this more bubbly personality, and he just was a lot more fun. I'm like, where was this before? Not like I love the bug collector part of Kelley, but the funniest part was Julie Chen prompted her to be like, oh, they don't like me because I'm annoying. And I know I'm annoying. I'm like, your dad does too. Her dad's been saying that online. Like, yeah, Kelley is annoying.
I can't believe they have just like publicly their friggin' parents just coming out and saying
between family members and pre-jury members, the dirty laundry's everywhere, which I think is hilarious, and I love that we're getting kind of
it's only gonna
that
get
tea.
messier too.
And I will be staying tuned for all of it. I love the mess. I love it so much. And I do love talking all things Big Brother. We are about to get into the events that unfolded during the second half of the double eviction. But I'm going to take a deep breath before we get there. What do you think?
I think we need a nice little breathing exercise.
We are going to practice breathing, deep breathing methods. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're going to talk all things double, all things Sunday episode, and what the heck is going on as we continue towards the finale of BB27. You're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair. That is what you are still tuned into. And we are getting into the second hour of the Diary Room. What? The Diary Room WMSC, where we talk all things Big Brother as we approach the end of season 27. And before our silly little break, we were talking all things about last Thursday's episode. We had a double eviction. Double eviction night, baby! And we only got through the first half. That's right. There's so much more that was going on. On Thursday, we just talked about how Kelley was evicted, had a extended interview with the one Julie Chen Moonves, and now we do it all over again.
Because it's double eviction night.
Double eviction night. And so. Let's get right into it. My notes are very scarce, for again, I was in the Vampire Weekend pit when I was multitasking a concert for Big Brother. And so we get into the head of household competition. It was a ball sliding competition, and the first person to get X amount of balls to sit at the end of the thing. I believe it was 5. That was the first piecing these information together.
They've done this competition a few times.
Yeah, and it was honestly super similar even to the White Locust comp.
Yeah.
Where Ava won safety for the evil that ensued. And Morgan wins head of household. Yay!
Yay!
At least definitely A for her, definitely A for Vince. This is her first HOH win of the season, and it slay, because she did not win a competition for a good majority of the season, and now it's just like left and right, rapid fire, go Morgan.
Yeah.
She wins head of household, and we brought up before kind of when do they do doubles. I feel like often they're a little bit earlier than where we are right now, and with doing a double with such few members of the house left, we're at 6 at this point, I believe, and it's a lot easier.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say 6.
Yeah,
You're right.
It's a lot easier to know at this point exactly who you're gonna put on the block. I feel like in other seasons there's been a little bit more back and forth, but this was just like, boom, Keanu, Lauren, go on the block. Also, Blockbuster's done.
Yeah.
Incredible that they basically worked that until the very last second. I'm not surprised that they didn't bother to keep it in the double, because imagine
that would have been so complicated.
It would have been exactly, and they would have needed probably more time, kind of a waste of time. Everything moves quick as it is. So Morgan is the first person all season who just has to nominate 2 people. Keanu and Lauren go right up on the block. And then we get the veto competition, the master find, and it's basically like a Where's Waldo situation, but instead of Waldo, it's the mastermind. Yeah, remember him? The house guest didn't. They introduced him like week 1, and then they completely neglected to they neglected the plot.
Well, they kind of did that. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I was going to say that they did the same thing last year with the whole AI thing. But, I mean, like, they had twists that were based off of Ainsley and stuff like that throughout the season. This time, the mastermind just kind of exists when they want him to.
Yeah. At least Ainsley had her box in the living room where there was kind of always a reminder that something is lurking. You know? I thinking about last season, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. Maybe I'm just salty from this season, but it's just like, why are we bringing in this plot point if not to really stick to the plot point? Whatever, he's here. It's his month of mayhem. He's back. And so basically they just have all these photos from the game and they have to find which section of the photo he's in and whatever. They all basically tie for a good majority of this game. Again, I'm watching it with like subtitles and I just see the icon underneath all of them in their little cubicle. And it's like everyone's basically moving up at the same time. And then we get to the the tiebreaker between Keanu and Morgan, which of course makes it a nail biter because it's either the head of household wins or somebody takes themselves off the block. And I did not know what the question was, but I did see their answers. And the second that Keanu puts 1800, I had a feeling that the question was about the wall comp and how long the wall comp lasted.
Wasn't that exactly what it was?
Yes, which is so funny that I was just like, oh, I bet that's what the question was. And I got it. Let me in, big brother.
Hey.
But then I saw Morgan do all this math.
Yeah.
She was like that meme with the math all around her head, and she's putting 2 and 2 together, but apparently it was the wrong 2 and the wrong 2. Because he puts 1800 and she puts 120. And then I'm like, what? Ezra, please stop singing. I've got some questions. And question mark? Meanwhile, both of them were very wrong. But one of them was very under and one of them was closer. All I know is that it sounds to me like Morgan misunderstood the question and put it in minutes, whereas the answer was supposed to be in seconds. The ironic thing about all of this is that Lauren was the one who stood on the wall counting the entire time. And I remember watching, because this is one of the few competitions that they put on the feeds, and I remember hearing her count the entire time. I'm like, she knew the answer. She would have killed it if she made it to this tiebreaker. And it kind of broke my heart that she didn't, because I'm really sure she would have had it like really close. I'm curious to know what her guess would have been. But instead we get a Keanu win, and in true Keanu fashion, he not only like killed the competition, but he beast modes through the cubicle and just like jumps above it, and like this huge like epic jump from above, and it's like, let's go, you know. And I'm like, that must have been such a great feeling. So I was very happy for him. Again, he's not on my draft, but I could care less about the draft as much as the people that I'm rooting for. I think he's just kind of the underdog in this situation, so I was excited to see him win. He did basically just rip the veto away from Morgan. I think that was just in a moment of excitement. Naturally, he takes himself down. Morgan decides to put Ava up as his replacement, and now the vote is between Ava and Lauren. And I don't know who votes for who. You said that Keanu
voted against Ava.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't like each other.
And then that means that Vince voted out Lauren?
Oh, wait, no, Vince was voting. You're right. No, it's the opposite. Lol.
I didn't watch this part.
At this point, votes are so, yeah. Vince was the only one.
Okay. Because then at this point, again, in my personal story, I was still listening to music, and I'm, by the way, really shocked that my phone worked in the Wilmot in the middle of the pit. It never does. But I didn't even fully see the renom. By the time I logged back in, I already saw that Lauren was out the door. Morgan got exactly what she wanted. And Vince, at least Vince could say she's not out on his HOH, though he was very lucky that happened. But he definitely had a hand in Lauren going home because he's the one who had Lauren and Morgan pit against each other for the entire second half of the game. And so he's not completely safe from this. Lauren was evicted. I didn't even watch her exit interview because I heard that she wasn't any different than how she was in the house. I don't know if you watched it or if you remember anything of it, but it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't usually watch the interviews all that very much, to be honest. And even Rachel's, I feel like I should, though. I mean, they are interesting to see, like, more personality, but I don't know. I just want to see some Big Brother being played. It's so hard to not just compel myself to skip it.
Yeah. I mean, as of late, most of the interviews are really quick anyway.
Yeah.
Especially with the hour time slot, but with this one, they had some time to kill, especially when immediately following this double eviction, they are simultaneously setting up the next head of household comp while also setting up the filming for BB Unlocked, because they do that just after. Like, they played the HOH comp simultaneous to the Unlocked filming. I keep hesitating. I want to call it Unplugged. They're not doing Big Brother Unplugged, and if they did, I would be there in a heartbeat. So they did extended interviews, and all I heard is that she's just the same. Once you're out of the house, there's nothing to hide. Your opinions, we want to hear your opinions. You're not hurting anyone. The only people hearing it are those outside of the house. The jury won't hear it. The house guests won't hear it. And yet it sounds like she's just like, la la la. I'm like, okay, Lauren, okay, go to the jury house now. And I don't know about you, this was the most boring outcome of a double eviction.
I said the same thing. I said that multiple times, actually. Absolute nothing outcome. We're just trimming the excess players at this point.
Yeah.
I would. So, okay. We made it to the end of the double.
Yes.
Now, I guess before we talk about the next the next HOH and everything, I don't know. I guess we can talk about that in our post Sunday section, because I just have many thoughts about the current state of the house and who I would be what is the word I'm looking for? Who I would be happy to see make it to the final three and take on the final HOH, because at this point my numbers aren't really running very thin, especially when we take a look to that to the draft table.
Well, I will mention that with the double, we are equally affected. For you had Kelley and I had Lauren. I
still lost one person, by the way. You want to take a quick sneak peek at the draft table real quick?
Well,
out of the 5 people who are in the house at the moment, I have one representative. So to summarize, the people that are left on my draft, I still have Ashley, Vince, Morgan, and Ava, and Chris has all but Keanu. The last hope.
Chris's last hope. And the funny thing about this is there's so many tweets out there saying, who would have thought this would have been the final 5? And I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, we did, because the only person of the final 5 that I didn't get on my draft, I was upset about it, because the second you got Keanu, I'm like, oh, that was a good one. I mean, my picks are still kicking, and I know in the in our social media, on our Instagram at the Diary Room WMSC, we do little clips, flashbacks to the day that we picked our draft, and in the caption, as the days dwindle, it's like, oh, so and so went home, send your well wishes to Chris, who's down a pick, but it's still anyone's game. And the days but dwindle.
It's happened again, times 3.
Now, I think that getting rid of Kelley, did I see a future of her winning? I think it wasn't entirely out of the question. Did I see a future of Lauren winning? I think that was pretty much out of the question, unless she was next to Ava, perchance. I don't know. But I do agree that at this point in the double, it was just like you had to get rid of 2 people. Whoop. And that's who it ended up being. And I'm really disappointed that I wanted to see Lauren's villain arc. I don't know if she would have done it.
I don't think she would have done it.
But I wanted to see a little bit of her frustrations. You know, when she's talking to Ava, like, this could, like, let's plot against Vince, and let's plot against Morgan. And if Kelley also stayed in that scenario, so let's say Keanu went home in that first eviction, then maybe there could have been strength in Kelley, Lauren, and Ava, especially since they have
preying on my downfall.
But then Kelley would have been there. It would have been Kelley still there, where I think Lauren and Kelley have a better shot at winning than Ava. No offense, but the only comp she won was just because someone else didn't. But then they could have plot against Morgan and Vince, and it would have just been so interesting to see. And it was very unfortunate that the outcome was just Lauren's eviction was delayed by an hour.
Yes.
You know, and I believe I saw too that Lauren's the first person in BB history to win a competition the same night she was evicted. Like, oh, she won 1 more hour of safety, and it's got to be defeating too. But I don't know if she really had a leg to stand on in the end. Again, maybe if she was against someone like Ava. But here we are. Here we are.
Sunday.
Do you remember the 21st
night of September?
And that's why the episode was delayed, because they were playing an Earth, Wind, and Fire special
right
beforehand, which made me giggle. The 21st of September happens every 21st of September, and I always forget that it's that day until I'm reminded. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Every single day.
And now we get into the aftermath of the double eviction. There was an Ashley, Keanu, Ava final 3, parentheses not real.
Yeah.
I wrote because they don't want to be with Keanu. They don't want, girlies don't want to be doing that. Because Ava and Ashley turn around and they actually create a final 2 of their own called Will's Daughters, which is kind of cute because Will was obviously close to the both of them. And basically after that, I stopped taking notes of who is aligned with who, because almost everybody is forming a final 3 or a final 2. There are 5 people left in the game. Naturally, you're gonna start doing that. But the truth is that those final 2, 3, whatever, they're already solidified. If you don't have them before this conversation, then they're probably superficial. Like, I don't know. Maybe Will's daughters, and then
I can see that happening because, well, Ava and Ashley both know that the only person that either of them can win against in the end are each other.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that will be something that would be honored.
Yeah. But, I mean, in that sense, too, though, their friendship has been developing over time. So it's not like it's a brand new concept. It's just a new name. So I think, like, them actually deciding, oh, yeah, the 2 of us to the end is really good. Which is funny because Ava couldn't stand Ashley weeks ago, and now they're, like, getting really close. And to Keanu's disappointment, I'm sure that him proposing a BS Final 3 just kind of pulled the two of them closer. And so the mastermind announces that the house guest should be ready day or night for the next sacrifice. And the next house guest will go home before the next live episode in a unique eviction vote.
What that mean?
But it is very interesting to note that this next person will be sacrificed, yet there will still be a unique eviction vote, which still sounds like a better situation than whatever they threw at Rachel Riley. Whatever. So the house guests go into sort of a pressure cooker-esque head of household competition. Production redecorated the have not room. And they made it this freaky lair with all these candles and like dolls come into play later.
So that was the have not room?
That was the have not room, yeah.
I was wondering where that was.
Yes, yeah. Because have nots don't matter. They still do it. For why? I have no clue. I remember way back when voting for what food the have nots would eat with my parents. Of course, I was but a child. But I remember voting on the silly things that they got to eat, and they did competitions, and they did this whole thing, and now have-nots are kind of an afterthought, to which I have no clue why we even bother half the time. But the have-not room was transformed. I know Keanu spent most of his days sleeping in the have-not room because he snores a lot. So they kind of banished him in there, and then they took his room away. And so now we have this weird lair looking thing where they do this competition that is sort of similar to the s'mores marshmallow competition they did in Janky World in BB26 that Leah ended up winning, and she held up that marshmallow for 10 hours. It was so easy for her and whoever else made it that far. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember Angela made it really far in the marshmallow comp.
Yeah.
And it was so easy for them that they had to like stand on one leg, and they like did silly things because they were there for so long. Kind of expecting something similar for this competition, and oh boy, did we not get that. Mm-hmm. Because the house guest had to hold a sword and hold the mastermind's like face up against something. It was like I guess a metal plaque or something. It turns out that the face was very heavy. It was very difficult for Ava and Ashley to hold up, so they ended up dropping really quickly. And Morgan was able to watch the whole thing play out on the TV in the living room, and then Ashley and Ava joined her soon after. I think they only lasted maximum 15 minutes. I know one of them went out at 11. Keanu and Vince. Keanu can't wait to bro it out. He just wants to talk to his bro, do bro things, and they're yapping. And Keanu is overconfident in this comp. He's putting up a leg, he's switching arms, he's yapping and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, wouldn't it be crazy to win the competition? Because halfway through his sentence, he drops the ball. He drops the mastermind face. And Vince, yet again, is head of household. So he doesn't even leave that room. Doesn't even leave it at all before he is the next head of household. I spelled Keanu's name wrong. I'm not very good at spelling. And Ava and Keanu, because now Vince has to put up 2 people on the block. Again, no blockbuster. Yippee! They are trying to convince Vince that he loses to Morgan in the end, and that Vince is basically playing her game at this point. And the funniest part of all of this is he's like, yeah, bro. So, like, their only line of defense is, you have to get rid of Morgan if you want a shot at winning this game. To which he, in theory, should go, wow, guys, that's a really good point. Maybe I should get rid of Morgan. But he's just like, yeah, I know. What? So there's no defense for Ava and Keanu to convince him. Otherwise, They end up doing the nomination ceremony in the Have Not Room / Masterminds dungeon, whatever we want to call it at this point. And they make it freaky.
Yeah.
Freaky episode
voodoo dolls
with some voodoo dolls with the name of the house guests. It was kind of funny. They made them kind of look like the house guests, specifically Ava with the little hat. And to nominate the 2 house guests, Vince has to place the 2 voodoo dolls in the middle of the table that all the other house guests like kneel in front of. And long story short, Vince nominates Ava and Keanu in this weird, witchy, kind of satanic ritual that Julie Chen Moonves would never approve of and is sure to complain about on her show God 101. I just don't know how we have the 2 ends of this show happen simultaneous. I can't imagine she's so super happy about how they kind of did that, but whatever. So now we round the end of the Sunday episode. Again, Vince, head of household, he nominates Ava and Keanu. And that's where the Sunday episode ends. And I know so much more. And without spoiling exactly what happens, I will tell you at this point, now we're at about 1:30 on Wednesday the 24th. Someone is out of the game.
Someone is gone.
To my knowledge, it was a eviction. So this was voted upon. Somehow they're both sacrificed and voted upon, which makes them evicted.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone's pretty careful to say that Rachel was not evicted, she was eliminated. At this point, there's a whole new head of household, new pair of nominees, and the veto has already been won. I do not know if the ceremony took place or not. I would imagine it would happen very soon if it hasn't already, because they have to edit it. Tonight, I am under the assumption that they are going to show the veto competition, where Ava and Keanu are on the block, Vince is HOH, and everyone plays because there's just so few people left. And I'd imagine they would show the veto ceremony and probably who is evicted by the end of tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, is it at a special time? I think it's delayed. I think it starts at 10 because I believe tonight is the premiere of Survivor 49, and that is from 8 to 10. And then afterwards is going to be that episode of Big Brother. I think it's an hour and a half as usual. And then tomorrow night, I would imagine they would kind of speed run all the events from post fifth house guests leaving for the jury house and then into whoever gets evicted tomorrow night. Because we do have an episode on Friday. Friday is their silly kind of retrospective, silly moments where they all have like the steak and the champagne and they reminisce upon the entire season. They do that kind of stuff. And hopefully we get some more jury stuff. If anyone boycotted Unlocked, I did watch the episode. They show a little bit of the jury. And they also showed that though they killed Zingbot in the veto competition, he's alive and well and roasted the hosts of Unlocked, including their guest James Gunn, which was a really good guest, I will say. And kind of knew what he was talking about, maybe a little bit more than some of the other guests that they've had, though he is kind of more of a casual viewer than a live feeder. But also, he's got a couple things on his plate. He's a little busy, so I'll allow it. But Zingbot is alive.
Yes,
just
he
so
is.
you know. I would have been so upset. They unalived my boy Janky last season, but then they did right by me in the end, so glad to report on that. And then we are looking forward to the Sunday episode of Big Brother this weekend. That'll be it.
That's the last episode.
Last episode. I can't believe it. I'm shook.
There's so much left. There's so much Big Brother left.
The end game is very strange because they had
Especially
so many people up until the last second. Pre-jury lasted ages, it felt like. And sure, they had a 17th house guest, but I feel like it wouldn't feel this long even still. And I will say, as much as I am still salty about the elimination of Rachel, I don't think I feel better about it. I just think time has passed. So I don't feel worse about it. I hope that they don't do that again. And if they do, that has to be like a week 1 thing. Where it's like, oh, womp person you're not attached to is gone. Maybe there's a battle back situation. I kind of feel neutral on battle backs anyway. I feel like it's so
Yeah.
But I will say this end game, as rapid as it is and as like confusing as it could be, I think that this end game is a lot faster and not as draining as it has been in the past, where they just kind of spend the last 3-4 weeks where everyone's just waiting for the person they know is going to win. But it is crazy that we're sitting here on Wednesday afternoon and I can't even... Sure, someone else is gone, but as far as people know, the finale's on Sunday. There are 5 people in the house.
5 people in the house, and there's only 2 episodes left. Well,
what in
3.
the world? Friday doesn't even count.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, it's like we're days away from the end, and there's still so many people left in the house. I think they went about it weird, but also I'm kind of glad it's fast.
It's interesting too.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to my understanding, they're just sandwiching another week inside of a week.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, we don't have any confirmation of who has gone home. Only that we know that somebody has gone home. But either way, it's like the way that they're getting rid of this extra person is not, it's not your average eviction. And there's obviously some sort of tamperage going on. I just want to know. I you
could
keep
tell you.
talking, and I want to know. And
I could tell you right now. I've got all the information. I have a feeling I know who's going home tomorrow. So I basically know the final 3. I need to know all the things. It'll drive me mad to not know. However, I do have a very silly video of me the other day when I kept the live feeds on for like 8 hours, and I was doing work. But when they're shooting something, there's always like the BB live, the BB theme song plays on loop. I basically listened to that as the soundtrack of my work for 8 hours, and I have a video of my eye twitching.
I would go crazy.
For my mental health, it is probably a great thing that Big Brother is ending this week. And I have so many other things that I could ponder about. Including, like I mentioned, Survivor starts tonight at 8 p.m. Season 49 begins. I personally haven't watched Survivor. Are you a Survivor person?
We watched Survivor. I mean, I watched Big Brother with my family, so I use the word we and as a general blanket statement. But we watched... I don't remember what number season it was.
I only know that upcoming is 49 because I know 50 is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, I think they're all stars.
I would assume that they're going to do some crazy stuff for 50.
Yeah. So that starts tonight. But then tomorrow, prior to the Thursday night BB eviction, is the premiere of Amazing Race. The new Amazing Race season. No idea what number it is, but what I do know is it's all past Big Brother players. So there's duos. They play in duos in Amazing Race. And every single duo has at least one previous house guest of Big Brother, with the exception of one duo that is both BB players. So it's kind of a really epic crossover. We got to do some discussing to see if perhaps we'll stick around after the Big Brother season, and we could talk things Amazing Race. But regardless, we are still going to do Big Brother commentary through and through. We're going to be back the same time next week, but we're going to have a winner We're going to have a lot to unpack.
Oh,
and
it's going to be a crazy episode.
It's going to be a lot. And the good thing is that I won't have any spoilers.
Yes.
Before it'll be over. I hope that maybe there's a little bit of tea to spill. You know, the house guests are going to get their phones back.
Yes, and Vince is going to make contact with the outside world.
Should I request his girlfriend?
Yeah.
She's a private account.
Maybe
you think she would block us?
No.
What?
I doubt it.
I'm on side note, Instagram is now allowing people to post videos on a very strange ratios. I'm gonna go see if I could find Vince's girlfriend / probably ex-girlfriend and see if I could find out some more. I'm rooting for her in life. I think it would be really funny if she went on Big Brother next season. I think there's probably an email in her inbox right now. Hey, BB28 is calling.
Did they do? No, they only usually announce open casting at like the end of the season.
It is open. It has been open, but they're not promoting it too much.
Yeah.
Technically, it's open now, and
I just haven't heard the America's looking for whatever the advertisement that they use every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same one.
And don't worry, we have somehow there's only days away from the finale, and we still have 4 episodes left. So I have no doubt we're going to start to see that. But I do believe that casting closes in like February or something, because Quinn is very outspoken about that. Quinn from BB26, of course. And mentions, like, here's what you got to do before February. And he's like, do all these exciting things and then put it in your tape. And then they're going to think, wow, what an exciting person. And then they're going to cast you. So that's kind of his inside scoop into that. So I got to think about the exciting things I'm going to do if I want to be on a BB28.
Are we going on BB28? Are we going to...
Can you?
What if we both applied next year?
I think that'd be really funny if there's like
I can't do that this year.
What a co-host twist.
No, exactly.
I think it would be like, I think if I was ever in the house and it was a twist of somebody that I know, I don't think I would ever in a million years be able to hide that, because it's either a good friend of mine that we would just be all yapping with, or it would be an enemy, and I wouldn't be able to keep the fact that was my enemy.
Yeah.
Like if they did like the season when they brought their like people's exes into the house.
Yikes.
You would know. Everyone would know. And it wasn't like messy, but you would know, because I can't act for that long. But technically casting's open. I have no doubt they're going to start promoting it in the next couple of days, even more so. But another thing that is open right now is voting for America's favorite player. And I will post it again. I've been posting the link a bunch of times on our story at the diaryroom.wmsc on Instagram, where I post, again, some spoilers, but I always put a little slide on top of it so that you don't actually know what happened until the episode airs. My posting schedule is about to get super confusing because of all the things that have been going on as of late. I'm actually gonna live go in the archive and make sure that I have that link pinned to our highlights, because I honestly just kept having to go backwards and look for the link myself. I don't remember. Maybe they announced AFP at the end of the double eviction, because I don't actually remember seeing it. I just know a whole bunch of people are like voting for this, voting for that. Who are you voting for, Chris? I have a feeling I already know. But I just want to hear it.
Yes. Yes. If you know anything about my taste in Big Brother players, I am a sucker for a person who can't keep their mouth shut and wins a lot of competitions. So the Tucker archetype is it's. I mean, they're just entertaining. Period. It is a flat metric. Who doesn't want to see somebody just constantly win competitions and stuff like that? So I will always be more inclined to enjoying someone who is naturally stronger at winning competitions. But this season, if you have been listening, has proved to reveal another one of my all-time favorite players. I will say that as a temporary temporality, but I won't lock in number one favorite ever because I need to know what his fate is going to be. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm referring to Keanu. He has been public enemy number one since week 3. Well, he hasn't been public enemy number one. That's a little bit of an exaggerative statement. But every single person in that house would get him out in a heartbeat. The second, and every single week, we would always do this thing. It's the same thing every week. They would put somebody up. They would put up Keanu, and they would put up their main target, quote unquote. And both of those people would get off the block somehow. And then we would get left with the third option to send home. And it's for weeks straight. I don't understand how it happened. But he made it this far. And and now it's time to lock in. Because for all I know, he's gone. And I'm not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything. I'm not even going to look at your facial expression. I'm just going to speak with my eyes closed. Currently, I am not looking at you at all because I don't want to see a single tell. I need this to be a surprise, and I'm extremely excited to see what happens tonight because I'm sure they're going to show somebody getting evicted. Like there's no way that they do a double eviction back to back. That wouldn't make any sense. They do a non-live double eviction.
Well, it's the Masterminds week. No Julie Chen.
Exactly.
Mastermind.
It's just the mastermind.
Yeah.
I just opened my eyes up again, but 5.
It's not real. It can't hurt me.
It's 4 votes to Keanu, 1 vote to Will. 3 votes to Keanu, 1 vote to Will, 1 vote to Rachel because pour one out for Rachel.
Yeah. But then you could watch
and
the
then
ad.
I was gonna say if I watch the ad, then we'll double it and give it to the next person.
Yeah. Are you doubling it exactly?
Double, yeah.
Okay.
I would say so, like 6, 2, and 2. Yeah. Nobody else deserves my brownie points. If I'm honest, I don't think I feel comfortable giving brownie points to anyone else except them. Maybe 1 for Adrian. Adrian can get 1.
Adrian.
I miss him.
I do. I love Adrian. I hope he is invited back at some point. I have to say that I actually should have completely predicted what you were going to say because I knew what you were.
Duh.
I kind of...
you have a more interesting answer to this question, I would hope.
My understanding is it is going to be between Rachel and Keanu. Because it seems like the episode viewers are heavily leaning towards Keanu and all of Twitter is going to vote for Rachel.
Yeah.
And the thing is I know it's very typical of a casual viewer to want Keanu to win. I was entertained by him the entire season.
That's why I enjoy, it's one thing to say that everyone likes this player, and it's another thing to say that that player is actually good at the game.
Yeah. He's not. But
well,
he's never been good at this game. He's been good at competitions. He forgives people too much, especially in Vince.
I don't like the way that he carries himself around Vince. It makes me so confused.
No, he wants to be one with the bros and doesn't listen to the women in the house. But there's no denying he's entertaining. He was great at competitions. And he's going to get a couple of my votes, if I'm being honest. But non-surprising for me, a good majority of them are going to Rachel Riley because she could also continue her legend streak of now, if she couldn't win the entire season, winning AFP is pretty sick. Pretty sick. So she is getting a good majority of my votes. I am going to, and I've been voting for days. I've been watching the ad basically every time, except for that one time I accidentally pressed out of it and then it wouldn't want me to watch it. So don't worry, I came up with a new email. And there are a couple votes that I will certainly give to Will, because I think he's also someone that would really appreciate it. Couple little handful to Jimmy. I love Jimmy. I don't care what anybody thinks. And honestly, I really still like Ashley. I know on the surface she hasn't been doing much, but she really has been working it this season. And I feel like others get a lot of the credit for things that she has been the backbone of. I think she's really fun to watch, especially considering she's saying she's putting up this whole like Elwood's front and she's acting dumber than she actually is, and like we said, I can't keep up that act for a whole season. I would never be able to act a different way and pretend I don't know things. I'd be terrible on the show. But I do love Ashley, and at this point there are certain others that if they're I don't want to vote for the front runners at this point either, like as much as I'm voting for Rachel, because she's not winning. And so between those that are left, there'll be a couple, like I said, Keanu, a couple Ashley. I like Morgan. I don't know. I am rooting for her. I am rooting for Morgan. She was one of the first people that I really gravitated towards at the beginning of the season. Vince I really liked, and now I really do not. So he will not be getting any of mine. And Ava, for the longest time, was a front runner for AFP and completely like plummeted, especially after. And again, this is my understanding of mostly the online culture. I don't know what your thoughts are on Ava, but I'm hearing a lot of she's talked really bad about Rachel, and that's rubbing people the wrong way. And then also paired with, well, what has she done to this season, that I don't think she's going to get a whole lot of votes.
Yeah. I mean, we know she's got a mouth.
Mm-hmm.
She I don't know how well she's been keeping it shut or not, in the sense that she should probably not talk bad about fellow house guests. I mean, it just Rachel has a pull on the Big Brother community. It seems, at least from the Twitter side of things, X formerly known as Twitter.
I will still call it Twitter.
I call it Twitter all the time, and I think calling it X formerly known as Twitter it rolls off the tongue for certain.
Give some whimsy to life.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm not fully locked in paying attention to that sphere. I would presume that general audiences don't like Rachel, and people who are bigger fans of the show do. And I'm right there in the middle. I couldn't be more non-general audience and more non-super fan.
I think you're in a sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like being... I hate having like the sentiment that I have original opinions, because I guarantee that that's not true. But I have very differing opinions on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't even know where this was going, to be honest.
This is okay. I think in terms of AFP, your votes pretty much reflect what you're saying. Where the casuals, as they're called, are just putting all their votes in for Keanu, and then majority of the diehard live feeders are going to vote entirely for Rachel. And you're like, I'll throw a couple to Rachel.
If I like them both.
What if I like them both? And truthfully, I, again, was entertained by Keanu. Live, laugh, love Rachel Riley. All that really matters is that not a single vote goes towards Riley. I'd be very curious to see if we could find out in the end, like how many votes everybody gets, and maybe he gets a couple pity votes.
I wish they would do that.
Oh, I wish. I mean, there are accounts out there that do like their own polls, like trying to get like their own thoughts, but it's all very.
It's not accurate information,
still,
yeah.
Because I think anyone who goes out of their way to follow a Big Brother fan account is already too deep into it. If you're looking for a Big Brother fan account to follow, we do have an Instagram at thediaryroom.WMSC. Kind of need to do more polls and such. We did a draft at the beginning of the season that I do have to catch up on. I will update all the numbers and such, and we will also see who is the winner of our audience draft, in addition to our own draft between the two of us, where we know for sure it's one of us winning and not our secret third robot option, because that draft only included Rachel Riley, but who knows? Maybe our lovely robot friend Oswald will have America's favorite player. Time will only tell. But we did polls at the beginning of the season, stuff like what's everyone's favorite season of BB and what would your HOH album be and stuff like that, which we'll be posting in the off season too. Again, we still have Amazing Race stuff going on. Ooh. So we'll still be active. You'll have to stay tuned for some on-air updates on what exactly we're going to do with our slot in the future. Also, Morgan, when she won Head of Household in the double eviction, she didn't get the room, but she did get a basket. I watched the live feeds. It was very funny when she got a basket that had less stuff than usual. And their reasoning was they said the mastermind got to it first, which I thought was very funny. And if she did get an album, it would have been Riot by Paramore, which I think is a really good one. And I think Vince's was by the band Camp, which is funny because I swear I heard him say that, and then I didn't believe that he was a Camp listener. CAAMP. I don't know if you know them. I know like a song. Yeah.
I do, but I don't.
He looks like he listens to Camp.
If anyone, if I had to make a Camp listener from memory without even knowing anything about their music,
it would be Vince.
It would probably be Vince.
Yeah. I would say
just
the
from
same.
hearing their name.
And so now I gotta wonder, did Morgan really dig Keanu's Linkin Park album? I don't know. I feel like it's all in the same realm to me. Linkin Park, Paramore. Maybe that's just because I listen to them.
Yeah, I think that
one's harder.
Yes.
But I liked the choice of album. I'm gonna backtrack and see what all of theirs were, because I never quite figured out what like Mickey's album was. I don't think. I think there are a couple ones that I missed. And then with a couple repeat HOHs, did they get the same album? Did they get a new one? I need to find out. Clearly Vince got two different ones, because I think his first one was
one was Post Malone. I know that was we did talk about Post Malone at some point.
Yep.
That was over the summer though.
That was with him. And Jimmy's album was the new Miley Cyrus album, and he actually just the other day got flowers from Miley Cyrus. Can you believe that?
Is she a Big Brother pilled?
I don't know, but maybe she is now. I think he's mentioned her a whole bunch of times. And post eviction, Jimmy seems to be thriving. But I think he's also spilling tea. I think he was just live on TikTok for 24 hours. I didn't know this. I joined for 30 seconds and it was him like moving a light, and all I saw was the light. Like, it was like somebody's living room and a light, like, moving back and forth. I'm like,
Jimmy,
what's going on here? So I am excited for all the house guests to get back together. The finale is going to be interesting, especially considering that Mickey wants nothing to do with Morgan. Also got Jimmy out. And then the Riley and Catherine of it all will be interesting. Will they sit next to each other? I mean, they're next to each other in boot order. What if they switch it up this year?
They usually put them in exit order.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'll be very interested to know exactly what they end up doing with that. And if this is the first time that they're in some random order, who knows?
That's definitely going to be a tell.
Yeah, I don't know their current status.
Maybe they have I wonder if they're like I mean, we did talk about how they said that they were gonna talk at some point when they first got evicted.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anything else about that?
I heard some things about how Catherine she was yapping with all of the pre-jurors on like a live stream, minus Mickey and minus Riley. And it was kind of understood that she and Riley, she definitely wasn't with him, whereas like Zach and Adrian have been hanging out like in person, and they've been like doing their thing where Riley and Catherine haven't been. And then I saw some tweets where they're like, oh, Riley and Catherine are talking, but she's not advertising it because she knows the people don't want her to, so she's kind of keeping it a secret. I haven't done a lot of digging myself. I haven't seen it on like their stories or whatever.
That would be messy.
And I kind of live for
it.
I kind of like the mess.
I want to see the internet's reaction to this.
Yep. And so we're still going to be chilling in the weeks after the season ends, and whatever information I gather, trust, I will share this information. But that's all we've got now. Now we just wait for the finale. I mean, we still have 4 episodes before the finale.
Right there.
We're right there. And we approach the end of BB27. If you want to let us know your thoughts, again, Instagram at thediaryroom.WMSC. We'll be chilling. We'll be posting all things pre-finale, post-finale, and next time you hear our voices on your airwaves, we will have crowned a winner of BB27.
What?
Can you believe it?
We made it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. This has been The Diary Room. WMSC on 90.3. WMSC Upper Montclair. We're almost at the end. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Can't wait to see y'all after we crown the winner. Have a lovely, lovely day. Peace out.
Bye.